Okay, so today I just want to briefly make a video over how I use Todoist. So I have a previous video about about a productivity system, including a task management system, having a time management component with a calendar, and also having a notes system. So to expand on that, today what I want to cover is a task management system I've been using for the past year about, that has seemed to settle and work really well for me. And that's something I want to drive home in this video, is that this system has worked well for me. I've used a lot of other programs and they each had different quirks that might work for someone else. So it kind of actually does depend on your preference, but I want to show this one as I think it would fit most general single people that have a house and a home and a family, but also a hobby interests and also a career interests that can all be unified into one system. And that system is going to be Todoist. So before I start about Todoist, in chapter 1 I want to talk about the organization of a task manager and a task management system. And kind of the idea is that following kind of a GTD type system, get things done. The tasks can go into an inbox. They can be further organized if needed. If it's not, then not. And then, so I like that anyways, let's talk about the organization of a task manager. So task manager is going to take in tasks from all your inboxes. And I like that Todoist itself has an inbox as well, where you can throw tasks that aren't organized. Also, inboxes commonly is the email inbox, but also if you're in a class or in a meeting, tasks can be thrown into there and then processed at a later time if there's not time to process them, or it's not in your workflow to process them at that moment. So in a task management flow, you have an inbox flow, and then second, you're going to have an organization, a doing, and then it's done. So the task manager helps keep track of what are all the little things to do. So one thing I want to add here is that a task is something that has one action associated with it, and then a project has something that has more than one action associated with it. So a simple task, take out the trash. That can be broken down too into more simple things and use that detail as you need. But Todoist in its free version also does support subtasks. So I want to show that here. So Todoist does support subtasking in that as well. Todoist is also really good and has worked really well for deadlines. So you show up to the today view and you're going to see everything that needs done today. You can also go under the projects view and you can schedule things out. I'm not as experienced in the templating of tasks, but I have used Todoist to copy paste over a list from Excel or Google Sheets and paste it into a list format under a task in Todoist, and that has actually worked very well. So copy pasting is pretty useful too. I had used that for doing lectures. Okay, so that's kind of what a task manager is. So let me get into the features of Todoist and how I use them. So I mentioned the inbox. The inbox is right here. Another feature is that Todoist has plenty of keyboard shortcuts. So a control spacebar, even if you're not on Todoist, will bring up this quick task, and you can quickly jot down a task. Make sure to hit add task, and you're good to go. Other functions that Todoist has: a great date picker. These quick options at the top, and you can set a specific time and a repeat section, which is great. Priority Todoist keeps it simple with a 1 through 4 priorities, and I think of these as an Eisenhower matrix. As far as you have the important and urgent, that's going to be a P1. You have urgent, which is going to be P2. You have important, P3, and not important, not urgent, P4. And so that's kind of how I categorize those if I need to. If I don't need to, then that's okay. Labels, I've used sort of. You can set the status on some things, but I don't use it extensively. I think it is useful to label some of the tasks I have as like on a someday list, and that can be put on the back burner, so it's something you don't want to lose track of, but also it's not something you want pressuring you. Okay, Todoist is really good about how it tracks the dates. So I showed you how you can set a date. Here's an example task. It has the due date of today. If we change the due date to another day, say this weekend, then it's going to disappear from our today view. Now if I undo that, it'll come back here. But Todoist is really good. It's going to show you everything that you need to do today on that day. And Todoist is designed for you to complete all your tasks in one day. Or it has this nice reschedule button for everything that has a due date in the past that's overdue here. You can reschedule it, all of those tasks, to either today or tomorrow, to a time that you want to work on those in the future. So those are kind of some date features. Todoist is also really good about natural language, where if I was going to review my ideas list on Thursday, or every Thursday, Todoist picks up that on every Thursday. I'm going to hit add task, and it's going to see that, but it's also picked up the repeating function. So it's kind of nice that it has that natural language to it. Additionally, I'm showing off here that you can host subtasks, repeatable subtasks within Todoist. So that's been a great feature for routines, which I'll get to in a second. And then a last feature that's really helped me a lot is having Todoist on my computer. I like to interact and do a lot of do the focused work on the computer, but it also crosses over to an iPhone or an iPad, and I'm sure there's Android settings for that as well. So that's a very nice thing, that you can access it from a browser, from a dedicated app on a phone, so you have a lot of access to the same list. So you don't have all these lists, all these to-do lists gathering in different locations, if you will. Now, that could be one downside too. If you want to separate it, you'd have to use different accounts. Just that would be a limitation I could see of this. If you don't want to see work tasks at home, then this would not. I don't think this would work exactly for that unless you had a separate work account with Todoist. But just things to keep in mind. Next, I want to talk about how I use Todoist. So, like I said, I use the inbox, I use the quick capture, I throw all my tasks into Todoist. And a few special things on the non-paid version. So on the free version, I've used the projects and kept few projects. So you see I still even have the ability to add another project. But then under each project you can add sections, and you can add as many sections as you want to. So that's how I've allowed for putting more things into Todoist if you need more organization of that style, if you're planning something that takes longer. The labels and filters work well, but I haven't used them very much. And I work a lot off of the Today view. One thing I did want to show is this day start checklist I've been working on. On the day start checklist, I have a list of things that I like to do every day, and this Todoist will remind me to do these things every day, every morning at that time. And I've even put relevant links in here to get to what I need to get to at a relevant time for those things. So it's nice that you can have a repeating routine, and so you can check all these off, and then tomorrow they'll all show back up for me to see. So that's how you can kind of fit routines into to-do lists and checklists into to-do lists. Sorry, not to-do lists, but Todoist. So you can fit routines and checklists into the program as well. So those are the main notes that I wanted to give on Todoist, how I'm using it, why I've been using it, and I hope this was entertaining and educational, and I hope you learned something. If you did, it was helpful to you, feel free to please share this with someone that you think could learn something from it.